What's up, guys? Welcome to Apartment 1909. This is the Apartment Podcast. I'm Brennan Sanders.
Christian Richard.
And we're here to talk about a whole lot of nothing.
Coming up off the top of our heads, just whatever comes to our minds, we're going to speak it out, speak it loud, and speak it proud.
Not to mention we're fucking drinking while we're recording this.
Been drinking.
So,
had band practice, drank a little bit at band practice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Band practice was fun. I'm tired as the fuck.
Not too bad. I did some work today, as always, but I've had worse days. Definitely had worse days. We almost got our guitarist and singer, Jacob, to be with us tonight, but unfortunately his baby mama sent him home.
Yep, his wifey was calling for him, so he needed to go. We were going to sit him right here where the microphone is, but
alas, it did not work out.
Did not work out. It would have been fun to record him, but we would have never heard his voice because he talks
really low. And it's funny because he has this very like screechy, Kurt Cobain-y kind of voice, but then you hear him speak and he just kind of talks like this. It's like really... almost like Hank Hill, but less hick, you know?
Let's hope he doesn't watch this. Okay.
So in news for today, Germany wiped the fucking floor with Brazil.
Kick the dog shit.
I mean, 7-1 is pathetic. I know that you had two of your best players out, whatever, yada yada. I mean, could you made it like 5-1, 5-0 even?
Anything lower than that would have been better.
But better. I mean, 7-1 that's like the biggest gap in any World Cup match.
Germany,
I believe.
Right now, Germany has the highest points scored in a World Cup.
Right.
Record
Okay, that's what
right
it is.
now.
That's
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, Brazil didn't look like a World Cup team at all, and I know they're going to contribute that to the fact that they're missing two of their best players. But you got to step it up. You're a team.
Hardly
it's
excusable.
A team effort. Like, okay, if you take Argentina, they have Lionel Messi on their team. If they lose Lionel Messi, they're probably not going to play as well. But Argentina is a good soccer team, so they're going to try to make.
They're still going to have that chance.
They're going to make the adjustments.
Yeah.
In order to, to make up for the fact that Messi's not going to be there. Messi's going to be there, don't worry.
No
but
worries.
if they lost him, they're a smart enough team to know they got to make up. It's just a disgrace to Brazil that the team would lose
that awfully, and it was. I mean, point after point after point after point. I mean, the first 2 points were in the first couple of minutes from each other. I mean, they were hardly.
The first one was the 10th. The first score Germany got was in the 10th minute. The second one was in like the 23rd, and then the next one was in the 24th. And anybody who's familiar with soccer, the clock
doesn't stop.
It keeps running, and so they must have scored, celebrated, and then just stole the ball and scored again, because I don't see any possible way that it was insane. I didn't get to see the first 3 goals. I'm going to be honest with you, but I did look them up later, and it was just astounding how fast Germany could score those points. The entire team was just clicking all afternoon. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. In other news, what happens in other news? They're talking. There's something going on with the legalization of pot in Louisiana, I believe, isn't there?
Not legalization, but
bring it down to a misdemeanor instead of a felony. Correct?
One of the representatives in the House for Louisiana tried to pass a law earlier this year where it would bring charges of possession of marijuana down to a misdemeanor rather than a felony, which I think is an amazing idea, because first off, you have potheads who are going to jail for 20 plus years
for having pot,
for possession of marijuana, while rapists and murderers and thieves are going to jail for half that time, quarter that time, 5 to 10 maybe, and then they're getting out on good behavior, but they're keeping potheads in for their entire sentences, and it doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense. I've never gotten high and been like, dude, let's go rob a fucking bank.
No,
or
you get high
rape a little child. You know what I mean? You get high and you go to McDonald's. We're helping the economy.
Helping the economy. But what he wanted to do was he tried to pass a law to where it would reduce it to a misdemeanor, because that would save a lot of money for the state government, for the city governments, because they're having to spend money to keep these guys in prison.
Paying like the probation officers and stuff.
It's stupid. They're fucking smoking marijuana. Send the people that smoke cigarettes to jail. Send the people that drink alcohol to jail. What? I'm not serious.
My babies.
But if you're gonna send the people that smoke marijuana to jail, look at the facts. You gotta be a fucking idiot to think that that's a bad idea to not have marijuana legalized. Much money.
The taxes that you can charge us. Colorado is going to be making, I want to say, I can't remember the exact number.
They're going to be in the billions in 2 years.
It's billions. That's what I'm saying.
They've already
tax
passed.
revenue alone, that's not even in profit that company is making. Not to mention the jobs that it's opening up.
And it's not just one company. It's the whole freaking government.
Yeah.
The whole state government.
Yeah.
What are they at? Like, the last time I checked, over 200 million.
Something ridiculous.
In taxes from just marijuana sales.
Yeah. I mean, Colorado's going to be fucking rolling in it.
Colorado has turned around their deficit completely. They were in a slump. They were in a deficit.
Yeah.
They owed money, and they turned it around completely. And instead of Obama and the fucking rest of the Illuminati,
bullshit.
all of the rest of the fucking government, if they would legalize marijuana and they would tax marijuana, they would turn their deficit around.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're in trillions of dollars of debt.
Trillions.
Now, don't get me wrong. Like, the way that our system is set up, we were in debt from the day that we printed the first dollar. So obviously, there's no way for us to completely pull ourselves out. But we're not going to be to the point where China and Russia and all these people are going to be banging at our doorsteps.
I don't agree with that. I think we could turn it around if the fucking government stopped taking money for themselves. Everything the government does is for themselves. Everything the government does is an agenda to get themselves ahead and to fuck us who are in the lower class.
We are the lower class.
We are the lower class.
Definitely.
The poverty line is like above 40,000.
It's ridiculous.
It's like 45,000. If you don't make less than 45, if you make less than 45,000, you're poor. You're under the poverty line.
Yeah.
I have none of my family, my dad, my mom, nobody makes above 45,000. I thought we were living comfortably, and that's poverty. Could you imagine what some of these people are living like?
It's ridiculous.
Who work for the government?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It makes no sense.
I was making about 21, 22 at my old... I had 2 jobs, and I mean, I was working my fucking ass off, but I was making about 21, 22 every year. I was speaking to a police officer, and he was barely making more than I was. A fucking police officer. Someone who stuck his neck out on the line to get shot at and shit. I was sitting at a kiosk and selling shoes. Those are my 2 jobs, and I was making just about as much as he was. And this dude had, 3 kids. I was supporting myself, and I could barely pay my rent, provide for my alcohol, and buy myself food, car insurance, all that other shit. I don't see how this guy made it if he was only making $3,000 or $4,000 more. That's only an extra like $200 a month.
At one point in the last few years, I was making $14 an hour at my accounting job, which is unheard of for an accounting job, mind you. $14 an hour. I was doing payroll. My dad, who has been a truck driver for about 20-something years. I've been working this job for a year. He's been a truck driver for 20-something years. Guess how much he's making? Or he was making?
I'm going to guess 13.
15. He was making $1 an hour more than me. And he had to support his wife. His daughter, my sister, was still at the house. Mm-hmm. And then they have pets. And he was having to support all of them, making almost the same amount of money as me, with all the bills and everything, and he was having to support them, and I was making $1 less than him and was barely able to support myself, albeit he didn't have rent because he owns his own house.
Right. Which is a big chunk, but still.
He still has $100-something electric bills, $50-something water bills, internet bills, cable bills. He has to pay for his... Dude,
birthdays,
everything.
Everything, yeah.
He has to pay for his wife. He has to stock the house full of food. All I would do is get a fucking box of ramen noodles. And I had $400 rent. And then like $100 of utilities total, and that was it. I had like $600 of expenses, plus like insurance, so $700 a month, and I was still scraping by. He had double that or more of expenses, even though he didn't have rent. And I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he could do it.
I don't see it. I mean, I was making $11.90 at one job and then minimum wage at the other job. And like I said, I was making about 21 a year. I mean, I worked, close to 50-ish hours a week, depending on the week, if not more. And I mean, shit, I barely made it by. Paying my car insurance. Now, don't get me wrong, I've been in a few accidents, I've gotten a few tickets. My car insurance is not exactly the cheapest. But even still, you know what I mean? I was like, well, shit, I gotta pay rent. I guess that, I'm not gonna eat this week.
It's true. And
living on eggs and ramen noodles, and it's sad that that exists. That's the way that it is. And I mean, I felt comfortable, but then, you hear this 40,000 a year or whatever.
It's the poverty line. 30-something thousand a year, something like
half
that.
of that I was making.
Half of that, and we thought it was okay. We thought we were okay.
We're doing okay,
We thought, you know what, I'm making a buy. Every now and then I have a little bit of extra money. I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
And then you realize that the poverty line is double what you're making.
Yeah.
So you're half.
Like that's like the lowest of the low. Like, you only make less money if you're working at McDonald's. Really, I mean, that's really it.
It's true. And minimum wage. Have you heard that they want to raise the minimum wage? Do you all know what it means? If we raise the minimum wage, they want to raise it to $10 an hour. Let me tell you what that does. You raise the minimum wage to $10 an hour. Milk is $4.50 a gallon right now. Mm-hmm. Milk goes up to $6 a gallon. Your fucking macaroni and cheese that you spend $1 for a couple boxes, that's gonna go up to like $3 a box. You want to talk about raising the minimum wage? All the prices of everything you fucking buy is gonna shoot up, and I don't know why people agree with this.
Yeah.
I don't
because it's Americans, and I kind of made a joke about this last time. Americans, we want everything now, and it's short term. For the first year, it's gonna be awesome. Mm-hmm. You got all these fucking crackheads and little potheads working at McDonald's. Nothing against potheads and crackheads. I'm just saying, you don't do much with your life. You're working at McDonald's. You're making minimum wage. You're barely scraping by. For the first year, whenever you go from $7.25 or whatever it is in your state up to $10, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome,
And then
all of a sudden, everything's gonna fucking increase, and then you're gonna go right back to where you were.
Yep.
Right back to where you were.
And then you're gonna want another minimum wage raise, and you don't I don't know how people can't understand that when you make more money, when the minimum floor goes up, everything, the ceiling just comes down.
Yeah.
That's all it is. The minimum floor goes up. All the furniture has to come up too. The furniture's not going to stay under the ground. Mm-hmm. It has to come up too. People don't understand that.
They don't get it.
They don't.
It boggles my mind.
It blows my mind. And it blows my mind too. Back on the poverty line, I'm not sure the percentage of people that are below the poverty line,
probably a fairly large amount.
It's got to be over 20%. It's got to be. It's got to be over 20% of people in America are under the poverty line. Does that not tell you something? Does that not tell you, okay, think about it. 20% of the world is under the poverty line. About 60 or 70% of people are middle class or more. More people are probably under the poverty line.
Yeah.
So that leaves about 10% of people who are in the wealthy
that are living, cream of the crop.
10% of people in America. America's the land of the free. But only 10% of America gets to live the way that we were promised that we should live. 10%. Or less. It's probably like 7. I think it's 7.
Something like that.
7% of the world.
I mean, you got your lawyers and you got your doctors. Who else?
And the government.
And the government.
Everybody in the government makes the money they need to make.
Yeah.
And then they're always pushing for more. Like, how fucking shitty is that they're pushing for more, but when we push for more, they're like, you can't fucking have that. We're going to take this for ourselves.
And then just to make matters even fucking worse, at the first, one of the jobs that I had, I was the manager. I was getting paid $11.90. I had, basically what it came down to was $500 salary. It worked out to be about $11.90 whenever you worked out the hours. I got $382 after tax. Now, not only are they taking out that $120-something, $117, whatever it is, I'm not good at math. Not only are they taking out that chunk, you go to the grocery store. Say you're going to spend $100. You're going to bring a bill, and you're going to spend every penny of that bill. Really, realistically, you're probably only getting about $70 worth of groceries.
Or 90, because it's, well,
it's about
0.08.
So you're getting about 90 to 89, somewhere in there. Even still, they're taking out a chunk, and then they're taking out a chunk for you to buy things. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? I mean, they are robbing us dry.
And then they make it seem like, oh, you're gonna get your
it's not bad.
you're gonna get your money back at the beginning of the year when you do your income tax. No, we're fucking not. I had to pay last year. I had to pay money last year, and I was under the poverty line, and I paid like $150 in taxes every week, plus healthcare, which was $40 a week. So I'd take home, a $600 check, but I wouldn't see but like $400 of that.
Oh yeah.
So they take about $200 out of every check, and at the end of the year, I got like $400 back total. I was pissed. It sucks because what are you going to use if all your tax dollars are going to pay for illegal immigrants and fucking government officials?
Oh god, the thing that pisses me off the most. I have nothing against food stamps. I have nothing against WIC or people on whatever. If you need it, that's the real thing. It's really a society problem. I feel like it all boils down to a society problem because there's two sides to this. First, you have people that are getting pregnant and having kids so that they can get more money from the government.
Yep.
And they're sitting on their ass, getting high, selling their food stamps for money.
Who's taking care of those kids?
I am.
Exactly.
You are. Everyone who pays taxes.
But besides the taxes, who's taking care of those kids? You and me. Because they come, okay, we live in a small town in Louisiana. The only thing they really have in this town is a cafe, a movie theater. They used to have a skating rink, but they turned it into an archery range.
Yep.
And then they have
Walmart.
like a couple small parks, a Walmart. There's nothing really for the kids to do. When I was young, I'm only 22, but fucking 10 years ago, where would we go? Outside. We'd play outside. Instead of buying all these video games and these movies and this stupid shit that's ruining kids' brains, which
it's water now. Don't get me wrong, I love it.
no, it's fine. You should be able to watch a couple hours of TV a day, play a couple hours of video games a day.
No biggie.
When you sit in front of, I'm not going to be the person that says Grand Theft Auto made these kids shoot up a school.
No.
But when all you do is play Grand Theft Auto, you start to get into a mentality. You need to go outside and play some fucking football or something.
Here's the other side, which actually kind of ties into that. All right, you listen to the music that plays on the radio. All right, especially the rap music. Now, I'm not a fan. I like rap, but I don't like the rap that plays on the radio.
Fucking gangster.
Exactly.
Stupid rap.
Whenever you put someone on a stage in front of people and thousands of people watch them, you're going to have these people that idolize them and want to be like them. And guess who you are trying to make people to be like? Fucking people who go out and kill people. People who sell drugs. That to
rape
me,
bitches
and all this other stuff. It's
stupid.
fucked up. It's a societal problem. Our society is ass backwards.
It's not a society. Well, it's a societal problem, but it doesn't start with the society. It starts with the government, the media, because the government controls the media. The government controls what the media puts on TV. That's not a fucking theory. That's not a lie. Look it up. They do. And
freedom of speech is bullshit.
Freedom of speech is bullshit because if we tried to, we're gonna say this. We're saying this right now.
Yeah.
I bet somebody says something to us about it. Somebody's gonna fucking come at us stupid about how we shouldn't be saying the shit that we're saying and this and that. It starts with the government. And if you don't believe that, then you're a fucking creationist, believing Christian bullshit piece of shit. The government controls the media. That's a fact. You can look it up. The government does. And then the media, because of the government, feeds us all this bullshit. Justin Bieber, Lil Wayne, shit like that, where they don't talk about anything intelligent. You know Lil Wayne has a fucking college degree, right? He went to college for psychology.
He's not a dumb dude.
He's a smart fucking dude. But he does whatever the media pays him billions of dollars to do.
Which is talk about drinking lean and getting high and fucking bitches and...
Yeah.
You know?
Another thing that I'm going to talk about later, I would love to talk about, is the fucking... The way that society treats women.
Yeah.
I can't, I'm shaking. It makes me so
crawl.
fucking mad.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a woman's fault that she gets raped. It's not a woman's fault that she gets womanized by men. It's a man's fault because they're fucking...
We're douchebags.
Oh my god. And
not simply put.
Not all men are like that, but I saw something on the internet the other day. A woman said, not all men are like that, true, but enough of them fucking are. And it's true.
Yeah.
Because it makes all the rest of us look bad. People need to just... Like, what if a man got treated like that.
Yeah.
You know? What if...
And there's hundreds of cases, I mean, hundreds, thousands, I'm sure, cases of men getting raped, but they don't bring it up because it's unmanly. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It makes him less of a man. But shouldn't it...
It's ass backwards.
It's stupid.
Ass backwards.
It's stupid. A woman should be able to wear whatever she wants because she's proud of who she is, not because
we say that it's okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Fuck that.
it's one thing. You know, if you want to be a nudist, by all means be a nudist. I'm not saying walk around with your kuka bean hanging out, but you should have some freedom to do whatever you like.
Yeah.
This whole women's nipples are no different than men's nipples thing, I think it's fucking fantastic. I think it's awesome because it's so true. Really, I mean, the only reason that man finds breasts attractive, it's a biological thing. It goes back to evolution. A woman with large breasts is going to be able to feed our child. Therefore, we want to reproduce with him.
Biological.
There's nothing... We sexualize it. As a society, we sexualize it. Have you ever seen a beer commercial? Have you ever seen a beer commercial that either doesn't have a super masculine man or a bitch in a bikini?
Yep.
It's one or the other.
And then they want to talk about how breastfeeding in public is wrong.
Don't even get me started. My girlfriend can go on this for hours. It's ridiculous.
I can't even fathom. You can go and grope a woman's ass in public, but it's wrong of her to do a biological thing that she was made to do in public. I'm sorry that her using her breast to feed her fucking kid offends you, but the fact that you're looking at her breast in the first place should offend her.
Yeah.
So fuck you.
It's a double-edged sword, and they're only taking one side.
Oh my god, it's so ridiculous, and there's so much I could say about it, but I can't even. It's the emotion, dude.
Flustered.
It's the emotion.
It's frustrating. It really is. My girlfriend, I'm a proud father of a 7-week-old now. She breastfeeds. She's super young, 20 years old. We know like very few people who breastfeed, and it's all because of this very negative taboo sense about it, and I don't know where the taboo came in. I'm thinking that it's something of the past generation being passed down onto us because it's I mean, I don't believe in God, but for the sake of the saying, it's what God intended. It's what nature intended. It's what nature intended. Nature intended. It's
why does a woman have breasts? To feed her fucking offspring.
And it's the best way to do it. A lot of people say that, breastfed babies are underweight, da-da-da-da-da-da. My baby, in the past 7 weeks of his existence, he's almost doubled his size.
Well, you know what it is? Yes. It's the fucking government. Because, no, I'm serious.
Full circle.
How much money do they make off of one can of formula in Walmart?
It's seriously, it's ridiculous.
It's like
ridiculous.
For the name brand stuff, it's like, what, $30 a can. The cans are this big. This big. You gotta buy like 70 of them when you go to the store.
Oh yeah.
And they're like $20 a pop. And you gotta buy some. And that's why I support WIC, because we grew up under the poverty line. All my sisters, for their kids, they had to have WIC. Because how do you buy $300 worth of formula every month? Or every week, whatever. It was a fucking lot, a stupid amount. Like, I still can't wrap my head around it. Like, it was like $200 a week of formula just for your kid, without having help from the government. But the point is that they make so much money off of babies.
It's ridiculous.
The stuff you got to buy for these kids to feed them until they're old enough to eat hard
and
solids.
I mean, it's not even like, it'd be one thing if it was for 2 months. It'd be one thing if it was for 3-4 months. I mean, a baby can't really start eating solid food until they're 7, 8, 9 months, and they can't even live off of that. And when they're 7, 8, 9 months,
they still have to have formula. Yeah. Exactly.
And I mean, it's not until they're 1, 1.5 that they can really, truly live off of cereal, and you can start giving them solid foods and so on and so forth. It's
I think that's a lot of the reason why we have these taboo, that society has these taboo feelings on breastfeeding, is because it started with the government kind of trickling in their opinion. You shouldn't breastfeed because it's wrong to do in public. Buy this formula instead. Yeah. Of course, buy the formula instead so the government can make money off of it. Naturally. Because all that money goes back to the government anyway, because those people that own Ensure and fucking Infamil milk, they got to pay their taxes to the government too. And the more milk they sell, the more money they make, the more taxes they got to pay the government. it all goes full circle. Everything we do gets back to the government. If you fucking have a job where you're getting paid cash, keep doing it.
Keep doing it.
Fucking make your money and don't tell the government.
Hell no.
And I'm gonna fucking sit here. I'm gonna condone that. You work a service industry job and you're making $2 something an hour. Which, by the way, don't get me started on people who don't fucking tip.
Gosh.
Fuck those people. They need to die.
I worked as a waiter. It's a pain in the ass. One of the things that I loved, I worked in several different restaurants. Every restaurant that I've worked in, we never, ever, 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 ever counted our cash tips. Ever. Because everyone knows that we're getting fucked. We're getting paid $2.17 an hour to wait on people who are fucking snobs, nasty ass bitches who don't even fucking tip you. You're lucky nowadays. You are lucky nowadays. If you're not working in an up-class restaurant, you are lucky to get like $1.50 tip. You are lucky. I swear, it's ridiculous. I worked at Zeus. Not to bring up any names. I worked at Zeus, a Greek and Lebanese restaurant here in town and around the surrounding areas. I worked for $2.17. I was a waiter. I was lucky to leave after working a 7-8 hour shift with $20-$30 in tips. Mm-hmm. $20-$30 in 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, easy. And it's not like I was, oh yeah, you need some more water. I was a damn good server.
Busting ass.
You know.
Do you need some more drinks, sir? Is everything okay? And then the people want to get mad when the food's not right or when the food's cold. That's not your
my
fault.
I ain't the cook. I'm just bringing it out to you.
And oh my god, it doesn't make any sense.
Ass fucking backwards, man. There's everything about this country seriously pisses me off. And I don't know if it's just humanity as a whole or if it's just this specific country.
It's the mindset. You worked for that money. You worked your ass off for that money. I don't care if you're a fucking construction worker and you think, oh, that's not work.
It's a pain in the fucking ass.
It's busting your ass to put yourself before somebody else, only for them to tell you that they're above you.
How terrible you are, and how terrible of a job you're doing, and then for them to grate you, and they treat you less than human.
Yeah, and what I love is those people who say, the waiters make more than $2.17 an hour.
Bull fucking shit.
You want to see the paycheck?
Yeah, dude. Your paycheck after a week, $90. $90.
And then you're lucky if you get the tips to make up for the gap between that and minimum wage.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and I worked at Wendy's, which you don't get tipped at Wendy's, even though you fucking bust your ass. I mean, it's not a waiter job.
It's still a bullshit
job. But it's still, you got to run around for this customer who doesn't give a shit. They just want their fast food now, which is fine. I understand fast
15
food.
15 seconds.
I was there. I mean, I expect the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
I tried. I worked that, and then I worked at a coffee shop for 2 months. And I know a lot of you are going to say, fucking coffee shop. It doesn't matter. I bust my fucking ass at that coffee shop for these snobs who think that their coffee is the most important thing that they're going to have the day. And if it is not to their liking in any way, shape, or form, we get fucking reamed for it by these people whose coffee is gold. I was a good barista, and I made it my duty to make sure my customer was happy when they left with that coffee, no matter what kind of coffee it was, and I worked my ass off. And it's sad to say, and I don't mean to like downplay baristas or whatever, or bartenders. Baristas and bartenders make a lot more in tips than a waiter does.
Oh, definitely.
And it sucks because a waiter does way more work, in my opinion, than a barista does. And I mean, I bust my ass behind that counter at the coffee shop. You gotta, first of all, you gotta make all the drinks for people. That's the number one priority. Second of all, you gotta keep, that's like 40 something syrup and sauce bottles that you gotta keep stocked up. You gotta keep the cups stocked. You gotta keep everything in tip-top shape, clean. Otherwise, the espresso machine doesn't work. It loses pressure. All this kind of stuff. You gotta keep all that clean. You gotta make sure you keep the pastries and the sandwiches up to date. You gotta make sandwiches while you're making the drinks. And then you're lucky if you make somebody a drink. You spend all this time making the drink exactly perfect, because there's an art form to baristaing. As a waiter, not to downplay a waiter either, but you would go and get the food, you'd bring it back to them, you'd have to remember all this stuff, you'd have to get their drinks, but you weren't creating anything.
The art form lies in
service.
The personality.
The personality and the service. How sociable you are with the customer.
Right.
Whereas the art form in the coffee, in the barista world, relies on everything. The art form is taking the order, making the perfect drink, and being nice all in the process.
And then balancing, making 6-7 different coffees all at the same time. I can
At
see
the
it being a
same
pain
time.
in the ass.
And then you got to make sure that, everything's in tip-top shape, that the cafe looks great, because you don't have a maintenance staff like at a restaurant, and you don't have one barista taking the orders, one barista making it. You're doing it all yourself. And so you're running around and people are fussing at you and telling you to do this and I want it at
Hurry up
122
and
degrees and I want 3 extra shots. You should have told me that when you fucking ordered, because now I got to charge you more and you're going to get pissed off at me because I got to charge you more. It says it up there. 45 cents per shot. And you want it for free just because you decided to do it after I said so, and you did it on purpose. They do that on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
They change it up on purpose while you're making it because they want to get it for free. Because it's
societal problem.
And then if you tell them, if you don't let them get away with the bullshit they're trying to pull, then they don't tip you. So we have to remain in this extremely happy-go-lucky state when really we want to stab the fuck out of you with the fucking spoon that we're stirring your coffee with in your throat. But we can't do that because we rely on those tips. Because baristas do make minimum wage. They don't make 2 something.
Yeah.
But
even still,
they don't have the hours that waiters do. We have 4-hour shift one day, 3 days off, another. So we might work 12 hours in a week, whereas you were probably working almost full time.
I was working about 32 at Zeus, and then at another restaurant in town, I was working probably about. I did everything though. I busted tables. I ran food, which is like you do last minute prep. You help the waiter bring out the trays and whatnot. I washed dishes, so on and so forth. I did a lot of different things. So I would get about 42 hours. Now, waiting tables, I probably only got about 10 hours waiting tables there.
But
I get a lot of other things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had a wide variety of skill sets for that specific restaurant.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was making, as a dishwasher, I've worked in several different restaurants. The dishwasher is like the poop that lies beneath the dirt on the food chain in the restaurant. I was making about as much as the cooks, a little bit less. And so that means I'm making more than most of the waiters, which is utterly ridiculous. The amount of intellectual skill that it has, that it takes to wash dishes is unreal. It's dumb. Like,
whereas
seriously.
a waiter, you have to have social skills.
You gotta have social skills. You can't be ignorant. You gotta have a good idea of what's on the menu. Washing dishes, I'm sorry. It was nothing. Now, don't get me wrong, it sucked. I had a few times I washed dishes over there. Was actually my primary job. I washed dishes over there for probably about 5 of the 8 months that I was working there. It was a Cajun restaurant. We served Cajun food, boiled crawfish, so on and so forth. I had this girl. They decided to give me a helper, because I was busting my ass back there. They decided to give me a helper, someone to come in and help me out, whatever. Her first night, she shows up. I'm like, hey, this is kind of how you do it. I just want you to do this. This is a very simple job. Just spray the dishes off. I'm going to, put them in the machine, put them up on the wall, and whenever I get a big stack, I'll bring them. All I need you to do is just spray them off. Literally, she was there for about an hour and a half. She said she was going to take a cigarette break. It's like, all right, that's cool. It's a little slow right now. I'll finish up what we got. Never came back.
Are you serious?
Never came back. I fucking swear I could not make this shit up. She never came back. She was intimidated by the job. And like, are you serious? This job takes 0 skill. All you have to do is be willing to work. If you are willing to work, you can wash dishes in the busiest restaurant.
It's spraying dishes.
I know that you can't see the people that listen to the podcast. You grab the hose, it down, you close the door on the washing machine. It takes I think it's 30 seconds. I think it was 30 seconds that it took to wash the dishes. You slide the dishes off, you unload them, put them on the shelf, and then you bring the dishes into the kitchen whenever you got a lot. That is it. And you do that I got there at 3:30. I left at normally around 11, depending. Don't get me wrong, it's a long shift, but you're getting paid $8.50. $8.50
to do this.
Stacks of stuff, and that's it. $8.50.
I would get paid $8.50 to do that. I would do that in a heartbeat.
That's what I did. Don't get me wrong, I was bad off on drugs, but I was loving every penny of that $8.50.
Oh, I'm sure. And that's lazy society.
Society.
That's the society that sits in front of it sits on the couch watching Jersey Shore or Party Down South, and
whatever the fuck,
they
Honey
fucking
Boo Boo.
lose brain cells, and then all they want to do is sit on the couch or go party with their friends.
Yeah.
In their no life piece of shit
existence. Yeah.
Work. And then you expect people to give you something. You expect that people owe you something, and they don't, because you don't even fucking work for yourself. You owe you shit.
Yeah.
You owe you shit. You owe
Anyone
other
can,
people shit.
anyone can be a business owner. Anyone. All you have to do is have an idea and have the desire to do it.
And you gotta work for it.
Yeah. The will.
You can't
the perseverance.
you can't get anything unless you work for it. After we fucking finish this podcast, we're gonna upload it, and we're gonna go and like fucking spend hours trying to make this podcast perfect.
Do a little editing.
Put it up on the internet, and then we're gonna like network the shit out of it, and try to get people to see it, because all we want is for people to listen to what we do.
Listen to what we gotta say. And that's that.
And that's our idea. You know, we want to get people to listen to us. We want to get people,
Make
involved.
people aware.
Make people aware and get people involved with us, because we want to hear your opinions. We want to do this because, first of all, it's fun for us. We get to sit here and just jabber our mouths, and
we're talkers. We can't stop.
But we also, would like this to lead to financial stability in the future. We'd like to
eventually.
We'd either like to do this for a living, or we get jobs for it. We could be on radio, or we could be whatever. We got to do. This is good on the portfolio.
I'll read the news.
Yeah, fucking A. I'll read the news too.
That's like a local celebrity.
You just get a mic like this, and it's on your desk, and you just all right, this is what's happening today. It's like reading announcements at fucking school. Yeah. Exactly. I could stand in front of a green screen and point at the fucking map.
Oh yeah, you don't need a... Oh gosh. Alright, so we've had our nice little rant. What's the next topic? Next little thing. Something interesting. I don't know if you're Johnny Craig fans. He's come out with a new band. They're called Slaves. Check out their little EP that they released. Super good. Typical Johnny Craig being awesome.
What's the EP called?
I don't even know.
I think I have it.
Let's Google it.
I can look it up.
Google.
I have it on Spotify. It's actually on Spotify. So
super good. I gave it a quick little listen. I'm impressed. Lyrically, I think that it's a step down for Johnny Craig. I mean, it's no Children of Divorce, but it is still a fantastic little EP. I would definitely check them out.
It's called
Slaves. Let's see what the name is.
Ooh, if I could find it. All right here. The album is called Through Art, We Are All Equals. Through Art, We Are All Equals. The cover's like two graves. What? I'm sorry. You've been hitting the table. I can shake it. Two graves with headstones, and looks like death walking up to it, and then a bunch of trees with a cardinal on the branch.
Hipster shit.
Sticking out. Yeah, it's a pretty cool album cover, actually. I'm digging it. But we listened to the CD the other day. It starts off kind of slow. I'm going to be honest with you. Most of Johnny Craig's solo stuff does. It starts off real poetic.
Yeah. Kind of ambient.
Yeah, nice, really ambient. But then it does kick in. After you got out of the car, I listened to the rest of the CD, and it's just it builds up, and then it's just steady, and it goes. And so it's definitely a good way to work into the CD if you start from the beginning. You'll work into it, and it'll, by the third song, you'll be it's rocking. It's nice.
Even Johnny Craig's most recent solo album, I can't even think of what it's named, to be honest, but his most recent solo album was super, super good. I Can Still Feel Her, Part 5. Awesome song. It's the only one that I know by name, to be completely honest. But all the same, super awesome. They had a rapper on it. It was kind of something a little different for Johnny Craig. What else?
I know we probably plugged this in last week, but I feel like we need to plug this in again because I'm really proud of this. I'm in a band called HolleeStar. He's working on getting the bass lines for all the songs. We have a CD out. It's called Demons.
I want to know where you go to hide demons.
Yes. Doesn't sound like that. He's picking on our singer. Singer's really good. He sounds like a mix between Kurt Cobain and the guy from Puddle of Mud, if you're into that. But he has his own, kind of style. The CD's really heavy. Think Seether mixed with Korn. It's post-grunge, alternative metal kind of stuff. The name is HolleeStar, HolleeStar. I'll throw it up on the screen or something for those of you who are watching on YouTube. CD's called Demons. It's on iTunes, Spotify, CD Baby, Bandcamp.
Soon to be Pandora.
eMusic, freaking Amazon. Should be on Amazon. If not, then I need to talk to them. It's on a bunch of places. You can go to HolleeStar.com.
Basically, if you can type, you can find
Fucking
it.
find it. Just type in HolleeStar on Google. It'll say, "Did you mean Hollister?" Fucking never mean Hollister.
Never.
You should. If you're watching,
unless
this
you're talking
podcast-
about their underwear, then that's okay. That place says underwear. It's fantastic.
Next week we'll have a new co-host. Because Christian likes Hollister underwear. And, no, I'm joking. I've never tried Hollister underwear.
It's quite comfortable. To be honest, I like American Eagle underwear and Aeropostale underwear. There's something about those fancy white boy underwear. It's extremely comfortable.
I wear regular boxers from Walmart.
And don't get me wrong, I wear my Hanes and whatnot, but fancy underwear. You pay $10 for one pair, but they are a comfy. That is a comfy $10.
I get mad when I have to pay $10 for a pack of 6 underwear. It makes me upset because I should be able to get underwear for free because you don't want me running around naked, but the government has to make money off the fucking underwear. Full circle. Full fucking circle.
Yes.
Oh, you could probably see the fucking screen on the window. That sucks.
Oh well.
I didn't even notice. And the battery's running low.
9% battery though. Oh well. You want to cut right here and pick back up?
We could definitely just we could probably end it here. It's 40 something minutes right now. We've been ranting. I think this was a good rant, though. A good government rant.
All right. Well, guys, we will be back very soon. I am sure. Probably either Thursday or Monday. We decided to either do them on Thursdays and Mondays, or Mondays, depending. So we will talk to you next time. Until next time, this is the Apartment Podcast. Signing out from 1909.
We're in Apartment 1909, so...
that was a terrible outro.
It's fine.
I'm Christian Richard. This is my good friend...
Brennan Sanders.
Adios, brohemoths.
Why are you pointing at the microphone?
I don't know. It just seems right.